What's going on YouTube? Smaller here, and we are going to be doing our voting of the Game Awards for, the players' votes, figure something we could do for fun. There's 29 categories. I'm going to start from the back, which the last one is Best Esports Team, which is why we're here on this. Hopefully, this website works, because I've been having a lot of problems getting this website to not keep crashing. Did that even make sense? It keeps crashing to the, it will constantly, I'll try to load the next thing and then it'll just say unable to load nominees, try again later, and then nothing on the site works. Doesn't work on my phone, doesn't work on my other computer, because this is off of my gaming PC, but I've tried it on my stream PC, doesn't work. I don't know, but that was yesterday, and today it managed to load all of this into this instantly, so I'm hoping. Okay, esports team. Only thing I follow these days is League. I used to follow Counter-Strike when it was in CSGO. But here's the thing. I cannot vote for Gen G because they got eliminated in quarters. Or was it semis? No, semis. All right, Gen G made it to semis, I think, and they lost to KT. But then I don't know about any of these other ones. You know what? We're just going to go Team Vitality. All right. You voted for Team Vitality. Previous category. Athlete. All right. So this is another one where it gets a little tricky. I understand that when they probably do these nominations, it's, before Worlds and everything for League. Because, well, Chovy's part of Gen G, and he didn't do so well. So I don't know about any of the other guys, other than I've been seeing some people I know within Counter-Strike talk about Zywoo. And I know him because I used to watch Counter-Strike, and he was like a rookie when I kind of stopped watching. Next category, Best Esports Game. I mean, just because it's what I watch, League of Legends. Content Creator of the Year. Okay. For me, because you have to think about everything that happened this year. When did Kai Sanat do Streamer University? Was that this year? Yep, that was this year. Okay. But I think as an individual, I like Moist Critical more. I have no idea who Sakura Miko is. I only know who the Burnt Peanut is because I know he plays Counter-Strike and plays some games with Summit. And Cadril is really only is just League. I'm gonna go Moist Critical just because of Dispatch recently. Most anticipated game. All right, this is. So here's the thing. This is going to be the game that's going to come out first. It's going to be that. Then it's going to be that. Then it's going to be this. Then it'll be this. Then it'll be this. Actually, probably GTA before Witcher 4. But this is, a pure objective thing for me and my voting. Out of all these games that I'm looking forward to, it's Witcher 4. It's not even close. So yeah. Best adaptation. I see none of these. I refuse to watch Minecraft. I refuse to watch The Devil May Cry. I only recently found out that the Splinter Cell even existed, so I might check that out. I know it's on Netflix. I refuse to watch this. And I didn't watch this. I've played the original game. Only because I'm going to watch it, I'm going to do Splinter Cell. Best multiplayer. I mean, It has to be our graders, right? So here's the thing. If I'm completely 100% biased thinking of just my own entertainment, it would be Night Rain, because that's just what I put the most time into. Um, I watched a lot of content creators play Peak, and that was some hilarious stuff. Same thing with Split Fiction earlier in the year. I played BF6's all of the betas and stress tests, but I didn't end up buying the game because Arc Raiders came out. And I didn't play this for like a week or two after it came out because of the AI controversy stuff. And then for me, like, we all have to draw a line at some point. We have to draw a line as to where what we consider is like, yep, that's too far. I can't support that or whatever. And for a lot of people, I respect their opinion of like the moment they know there's anything AI remotely related to it when it comes to voice acting and that kind of stuff, boom, they're out. That's kind of what I was, but then I didn't realize, and then the reason why I ended up getting the game is due to the fact that the developers are very transparent about this, and that they did hire voice actors. They actually hired voice actors, and a lot of the story stuff is fully voice captured stuff, and the AI stuff is they use those voice actors to like record a bunch of lines, so then they can use the AI to make like phrases and stuff for like, I think they said for like new items and locations, so when you ping it, they don't have to like call these people in or have them record dialogue for like one word or something. I'm going Arc Raiders. It's just Arc Raiders. I don't have too much time into the game right now, maybe like 20 hours, and because I've been playing it all off stream, but it's been fantastic. Best sports racing. The only ones that I've heard anything about is these three, actually. Well, I guess that is most of them. I'm going to go Rematch because it's what I watched the most of. I felt like Mario Kart just fell off the earth in terms of stuff. Sonic Racing almost seems more, but the stuff that I would be looking forward to for when it comes to Sonic Racing isn't quite out yet. It's like other characters. I'm going to go Rematch. Best sim strategy. I only played two of these, which is Tactics and the Alters. See, it feels weird to say, you know, a 20-year-old game. No, more than 20-year-old. 27-year-old game? Jeez. 28-year-old game? But they fully voiced the entire game. Clean, they redid the UI and everything. I don't know, it's gotta be Tactics. The Alters was good, but I stopped playing due to performance. Because I had like game-breaking bugs. I never played any of these. The only thing that I seen anything of was I did watch a lot of Split Fiction. But I've heard nothing but pure praise of Donkey Kong. And I know it's in the Game of the Year category, because that was like one of the few that I saw. The only two categories that I saw the nominees for before looking at this right now was Game of the Year and Performance of the Year. Because those are the two that just kept showing up everywhere. Best fighting. So, I actually been playing a lot of 2XKO. Maybe not in the last like month, but when it first dropped into perma early access that's playable, I've been playing a lot of 2XKO. Or I was. And it's having a really good time. The game, I mean, it's hard, man. I'm not blah, 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 blah. I am not a good fighting game type of guy. But I used to be. So years ago, let's rewind the clock like 20 years. When I first got out of high school and was going to college, I was going to a junior college, a JC, and they had like this very small arcade on campus. The unit, like the full-fledged university that was still within my city, I would go to sometimes because I had to take some of my classes actually were there on that campus. So the JC that I went to had a pretty tiny arcade with, I'm trying to think what games they had. They had MVC2, Marvel vs. SNK, MVC1, Street Fighter vs. X-Men, and Tekken Tag. And I want to say it wasn't DDR. It was one of these other dance games that kind of like copied DDR, but it had the diagonal arrows. I don't remember what it was called. That was when I played fighting games the most. I played, when I was even younger as a kid, I would go to the arcades, but I actually had more fun when I went to the arcades playing games like House of the Dead, Time Crisis, Initial D, Racing, and things like that. I played fighting games here and there, but for the most part, it wasn't really until then. And I'm not counting Smash Brothers, okay? If it was on this list, I would. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Tokon. I am absolutely looking forward to Tokon. Like 100%. Best RPG. I have to be true to myself here. I've played all these games. The only one I didn't finish is KCD2, but I still got pretty close. And I do intend to finish the game. I keep telling myself I intend to go back and intend to go back and intend to go back, and then something else comes out. I 100%ed Avowed. I 100%ed Clear Obscure. I've done everything to do Monster Hunter, which this should not be on here. There should be a different game here. I'm sorry, Monster Hunter should not be on Best RPG. It should be action. And my playthrough, I did everything I could possibly do on my playthrough on Outer Worlds 2. But there was some things I got locked out of due to skills and things like that. It's Clear Obscure. No question. The game, we're going to talk about the game on the Game of the Year one, so we'll wait. Best action adventure. See, this is where Monster Hunter should be. Monster Hunter should be here instead of, in my opinion... Oh, that's tough. All of these actually kind of fit here. They all kind of fit here. If I'm being honest. I really like Death Stranding 2. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I really, really liked it. I'm currently finishing up Ghost of Yotei. According to the PlayStation 5's percentage marker, I'm 50% way through the story. But I've been doing literally everything you can possibly do in the game. I'm currently in Teshio Ridge. Did everything I could do in the Ikari Plains, the first area, the grasslands, and I don't know, the ridge area. Takaki Ridge. Wow. All right. Man, this is tough. For me, it's between these two. I've seen full playthroughs of Indiana Jones. It's hard for Indiana Jones because I think it's going to be one of those games because it actually came out last year. It's just that it barely missed the cutoff for last year's Game of the Year, the Game Awards. So a lot of people aren't going to remember. But this is an incredible game. I wanted to play it myself. I even started it through Game Pass because I had Game Pass at the time. I only just recently canceled my Game Pass. And I just couldn't because I had already seen entire playthroughs. I've seen full playthroughs of Split Fiction. It sucks, Split Fiction. It sucks because Split Fiction is incredible. It's just that 2025 is so stacked. I'm going to go Death Stranding. I'm going Death Stranding. I played Death Stranding 1 right before Death Stranding 2. And Death Stranding 1 was, in my opinion, it felt like a proof of concept for Kojima. It clearly had a lot of leftover residue, that's a weird way of saying it, of Metal Gear Solid 5. And the UI and how everything played and worked and everything. But what it did well. And the story was pretty good. Especially towards the end. It got crazy. Death Stranding 2. I think there's literally only one thing that I think it did worse. And that is the feeling of you're alone. You're the You're the delivery guy out there all alone, having to build these connections and traveling through these like dangerous territories of the BTs and everything. You could just drive a vehicle the whole game from beginning to end and not have to worry about anything. Like literally you never have to. So that was kind of gone from when the first game, and I felt like that was a very important thing of the first game. But aside from that, Death Stranding 2 is just better than the first game and everything else. I don't know. I liked it. And Kojima definitely went full wacky Kojima in this game. The first game, it was just a little bit. This one is, he's just like, all right, we're ripping the Band-Aid off. We're going full on. Whoa, we're out there. And I loved it. Best action game. So, here's, for me, I haven't played any of these games. But see, this is where Monster Hunter should be, in my opinion. I've heard that this game is incredible. I've seen some gameplay of this. Everything that I've heard about Doom the Dark Ages is that it's good. Battlefield 6, I feel like it's too different. But I've heard Hades 2 is just Hades 1, but better. And I loved Hades 1. Best VR AR. Okay, well, if I know, I don't know any of these. Whatever that lands on. Okay, Arc and Age. I don't know what that is. Best mobile game. Only because I've seen all the streamers play it. Best debut indie. So, the developer for this has already just said that he wants his nomination removed because he's using a different alias, but he has made plenty of other games. Even though it literally says best debut game created by a new independent studio. So it's a new studio, not just someone's first game. You know, which Dispatch, tons of, you know, new guys. Or, I mean, veterans. Tons of veterans. I have no idea what this is. Blueprint. Man, I think I have to give it the Blueprints just because. Oh, man, that's hard. Because I think these are the only two. This is the only spot that both Blueprints and Dispatch are going to be at. But Dispatch. I'm going to give it to Blueprints. I put like 100 hours in this game. I didn't finish it. I didn't unlock all the doors at the end. It got really hard. I don't know, dude. I wanted to put more time into it, but games just kept coming out because I was so stuck. But I loved every second of it. Best independent game. Shit. See, this is weird. Sandfall Interactive, but it's published by Kepler. Therefore, just by definition, that means it's not an independent, right? But it just is outside the traditional publisher system. Ugh, that's brutal, man. Supergiant, I don't even consider indie, even though it is just them. I'm not going to give it to Claire Obscure. I can't. I feel like... But see, then that's Raw Fury. This is where it comes... Okay, guys, let me know in the chat. Or not the chat, jeez. This is a YouTube video. In the comments down below. What is an indie game to you? Or, like, what's independent game? Right? We have to come up with... like, hard definitions, right? So if I go back to this one, right? Debut indie game, for the best debut game created by a new independent studio. By that definition, Megabonk should still be, I commend the guy for saying that he wants to be taken out of the voting because of that. But all this really means is it's just the first game by a new studio. By a new independent studio that's not owned by one of the big AAA guys. Which, okay, that's fine. Best independent game. So now it's the same thing, but it may not be their first game. I guess. When it's like, is Devolver Digital really indie? I mean, dude, these guys publish a ton of games. Just none of their games are usually like, it's not like Sony Entertainment or whatever, or Rockstar, whatever. I'm going to give it to Blueprints again, dude. I'm giving it to Blueprints. Only because I know Clear Obscure is going to get a bunch of shit. When I say that, I mean, they're going to win a bunch. It's tough. Because I have not beat Ball X Pit, but I've actually put a lot of time into it. I play this when I'm like listening to a podcast or something. I'm probably going to play more tonight. Man, it's tough, man. It's tough. Community support. Is this the year that they released all the subclasses? Yep. Okay, Baldur's Gate it is. That was my determining factor. If it wasn't that, I was probably going to give it to one of these two. Best ongoing. This is tough. I know Final Fantasy XIV's not doing so hot right now. And Marvel Rivals is just always... They're always killing it. Games for Impact. The only one I've even heard of is South of Midnight. So I'll go with that. I'm just going with it because it's the only one I heard of. And I heard it's actually a pretty good game. Innovation in accessibility. Recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. I played Atomfall. I am so happy to see these guys nominated, so I'm just going to vote for them. I have no idea what it's for. But I haven't played any of these other games, so I couldn't tell you. Whereas Atomfall, I at least played the game. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, you want to know what? I think it was one of the games, and a lot more games are starting to do this. I mean, it may be more than just this. Or more about the nominee. Oh, no. It may be more than just what I'm about to say, but I do remember now. This is one of the games that had the ability to put in motion sickness mode or whatever to try to help people that have motion sickness. And see, for me, that's a huge deal. Because I actually, that's why I have to turn off motion blur in every game, for the most part. I have to turn off camera shake and all that kind of stuff. Because it really does affect me. All right. Sorry, Erika Ishii. You're doing a good job as Atsu. And, I'm not taking in any account about who you are as an individual person outside of your work. But just as your performance of Atsu, I think it's good. Unfortunately, you're up against Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, Jennifer English, Troy Baker, and I didn't play Silent Hill F, or did I even watch it? Because it looks terrifying. But probably pretty good. Man, I kind of want to give it to Troy because most games, Troy Baker for the longest time was just like, you know, him and Matt Mercer pretty much always vied for the same roles, and Troy Baker was the A-list, and Matt Mercer was like, we got Troy Baker at home. And it's Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer was the budget Troy Baker, but they always they were the same, basically, same voice in every character, every role, kind of thing. You immediately knew was Troy Baker, and his stuff. His indie is so good. It's like incredibly so good. But at the same time, all three of these guys, see, I personally do think Charlie Cox, especially because we know, he when he was asked about this at one of those cons or whatever, his entire performance capture and recording consisted of 4 hours of one day. That's it. That's incredible. And I think he put on a masterclass voice capture, voice performance, everything. It's a masterclass. And I shouldn't say capture because they didn't do the motion capture for the characters. They had other guys do it, I believe. And it was just the voiceovers. And that's part of the reason why the lip syncing actually in Clair Obscur is kind of off. They recorded all the voice lines and then they did the lip movement, or is it the other way around? It was one way or the other. It was a very obscure way. I remember, and you want to know who should be on here? And so this is my thing. They should actually take Charlie Cox off and put Andy Serkis as Renoir, because I would immediately vote for him. That's who I would vote for. I think this is Ben Starr's best role. The issue with Ben Starr is he always sounds exactly like Ben Starr. But he was at least able to his verso was very different than his Clive. Even though, just voice and the sound of his voice sounds exactly the same. Jennifer English, though, I only know her as Shadowheart. And I know she is also now going to be doing the lead in Tides of Annihilation coming up. But this is the only other role I know her from. And I thought it's leaps and bounds better than Shadowheart. I think she's knocked it out of the park. If Andy Serkis ain't here, it's going to her. I do think Ben Starr's going to win, though. Audio design. God. Arc Raider should be on here. I actually think Arc Raider, I'm in that camp of sort of in Shroud's camp of Arc Raiders is being robbed of a lot of stuff. Arc Raiders should absolutely be nominated here. 100%. Honestly, Ghost of Yotei, I'm loving the game, but no. Out of these games, it's Battlefield or Death Stranding for me. I'm trying to remember. I remember Battlefield actually pretty vividly, but it's just because from the beta and the stress test stuff was more recent than when I played Death Stranding. And it was really, really good. I'm trying to remember Death Stranding. I'm gonna go Battlefield. Score and music. No question. I'm sorry. There's just, it's not even a question. It's Lorien Testard with Clair Obscur. It's just that good. And I'm sure the others are really good too. I mean, I like the music in Yotei. I loved the music in Death Stranding 2. I'm sure Hades 2 is incredible. I'm sure Hollow Knight's incredible, but Clair Obscure's Alicia and Lumiere. Those songs alone are just chef's kiss. Absolutely incredible. Art direction. For me, it's also still Clair Obscure on this one. Death Stranding's art direction, I feel like, is lacking. Like, it visually looks incredible, don't get me wrong. Like, just the fidelity of the graphics and everything. Even, because I played it on a base PS5, and I still thought I was blown away of how good it looked. But that's not art direction. Right? For me, it would be, Death Stranding is the obvious one out. And then next would probably be Ghost of Yotei. Look, I think Ghost of Yotei visually is incredible. It's one of the best parts about the game is how good it looks. The color contrasts, or when you're in like the lush foresty area and then you have the white trees and the white leaves, or just like the splash art here, right? You have the snow, but then you have the golden ginkgo leaves and everything, and then I'm currently in the region that has like the red leaves. It looks incredible. But we've seen it before. It looks exactly like Tsushima. Just, a little higher quality. So that's the next one out. Then it comes down to Hades 2 or Silksong. Both of these are also same exact art style as the predecessors, Hades 1 and Hollow Knight. It's the exact same art style, just done again, which is incredible. So this is part of the reason why I'm already leaning towards Clair Obscure. And then the fact it is just, it's unique to me. It's very, very... I think it's incredible. To me, it's the most unique one out of this list. And it's the best looking, most captivating, all of that kind of stuff. For me, it's Clair Obscure. Best narrative. This is a lot closer for me than it is, I think, for most people. I think most people are just instantly, it's Clair Obscure. Guys, KCD2 is... I haven't even finished the game, but the narrative of this game is insane. I'm sure best direction is probably next, and I'll give that to Clair Obscure because I think the direction is incredible. But see, the narrative isn't the direction. The narrative is just the storytelling itself, the story. It's not Yotei. It's not Death Stranding. I can't weigh in on Silent Hill. But Clair Obscure is good. Because I'm so neck and neck between the two of them, I'm going to give it to KCD2 just because Clair Obscure is getting so many other things. Yeah, game direction. There's not even a question. It's Clair Obscure. And here's what's crazy. This is actually, game direction is one of the only flaws I have with the game. And that is at, like, when you're at the end of the game. But everything before that is argument of best of all time. Just since video games have existed. And you can't ignore that. Even when mentioning the flaw that comes at that point. Because it does come pretty late in the game. So it's like, yeah, it knocks it down a little bit, but it's just that a little bit. Because everything that's before it is just greatest of all time, arguably. Like, look, Death Stranding's good. Ghost of Yotei in terms of direction is good. And they clearly went for a vision of this is, your typical old, Japanese revenge story, kind of deal. And there's a lot of movies that this was clearly based around, they kind of used for inspiration. And they do such an incredible job about that. But for me personally, I don't like those kind of stories. I mean, I do, I guess. But to me, they're very one-dimensional and they're not as interesting as something like Clair Obscur. Like Death Stranding would probably be number 2 for me. I would probably put it second because I actually like the story quite a bit. I'm guessing next is. Oh, I must have missed one. Game of the year, boys and girls. This is it. They either needed to remove a game on this list or increase the amount of games that can be nominated on this list. Because 2025, what needs to be on here? I'm with Shroud. Arc Raiders needs to be on here. It's... Arc Raiders is genre defining. It's so impactful in the gaming space right now that, like, I can't even recall the last time a game has been this big with a multiplayer game, and the gaming community and everything. Like, I don't, like, what, Fortnite? It's like other things that I feel like that could possibly be on here. Like, I think Ghost of Yotei should be on here on this list as well. But then it's like, okay, what do you take out? For me, probably Hollow Knight. But I mean, I haven't played Silk Song, so I don't know. I heard, man, it's just so tough. But at the end of the day, there's only one game. It's Clair Obscur. I hate saying this because I sound like I'm just like ripping off of other content creators that are, really large content creators. But I'm a huge fan of Maximilian Dude, and I watched his entire playthrough, and I remember following along with this playthrough of him watching, and each stream he would play, he was exuding the feelings of how I felt when I played the game, of like, I think I'm playing right now, I'm experiencing one of the greatest games of all time. Like, just bar none. Like, this is going to be one of the greatest games of all time. 20 years from now, people are going to be saying that this is one of the greatest games of all time. Kind of like how, like, right now, people talk about the OG FF7 or something like that. And then, yeah, the final section of the game happens. It could have been fixed so easily, too. It's unfortunate. But again, that was one of the things I was talking about. Like, it happened so late in the game that it doesn't really knock the game that much for me, because you can't ignore the first 90% of the game. That's just god tier. You can't ignore it. It's just that good. And it's so crazy when I'm like looking online. Like, this happens all the time on social media. New game comes out, everyone's praising it. If it's good, if the game's good, everyone's praising it. Yeah, all this praise. A few months later, yeah, that game's actually trash. I mean, like, what does Clair Obscur really do? It's just this. It's turn-based slop. No, it's so unimaginative. It has, blah 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 blah. The story's boring. The characters are boring. I'm like, if this stuff is boring to you, when it comes to a narrative or characters, what do you find not boring? I thought every single character in this game was amazing. Well written, well voiced. I thought they were amazing. Like I said, that last like 10% of the game, yeah, I think they really fumbled. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if they kept that momentum of the first 90%, finished it to the last to make it a whole 100%, this probably would I would be deciding if this is my favorite game of all time. But now I don't have to because they fumbled at the very end. But it's not necessarily with the characters, it's with the story and gameplay decisions. I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of negative stuff about the game, but I feel like, you know, it might be rage baity just to cause some disturbance. Death Stranding, man, it is good. It's so much better. This game is so deserving of being on this list. KCD2 is deserving of being on this list. If these games are as good as everyone says it is, they're all deserving of being on this list, but Arc Raider should be here, as should Ghost of Yotei. It's just me. I also wish there was a nod for... what am I missing? I've missed a category. Oh, I just didn't... That's right, I was going to vote that one. Yeah, it was even selected. One of the games that I played this year that I really, really liked, that I feel like should have been on here, and I just realized, is there no action? Oh no, there is action. Where is it? Oh, there's action and action adventure. Okay, should have been an action. Hell is Us. What were the other games here? Why is there only 5? Yeah, why not 6? Hell is Us was, I thought, I enjoyed the hell out of that game, dude. But anyway, my list is a very long video. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys are voting. You know, do you agree with me on some of my picks here? Do you guys completely disagree? What other games should be on here? What got robbed? What's, you know, should be on here besides other things we've already talked about? Like I said, Arc Raider should have a lot more stuff on here. I think Yotei should have more things on here. Dispatch on performance. Where's performance? Dispatch should be on this list. And Charlie Cox, his Gustav is incredible, but it should be Andy Serkis. Just saying. And I like Erika Ishii here, or you know, her performance as Atsu. Put Aaron Paul or Jeffrey Wright here, man, from Dispatch. Like, when I originally saw this, because they were the two Game of the Year and Best Performance, I saw these two lists before I managed to get this all working, and I didn't know Dispatch was on the list, so I thought maybe, oh, maybe it didn't make the cut, but it is on here. Dude, Dispatch has some of the best performances I've seen. Come on, man. I feel like that got robbed. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you like the video, hit like, you know, subscribe. I try to do, you know, what I can when I can, you know. Work sucks, but, you know, we do what we can. Leave comments down below what you think. Agree, disagree, what got robbed, all that good stuff. All right, guys. See you next time.